Hi lads and lasses, Modest Pelican here with GTA5. If you enjoyed this video, please try and shoot down all birds that are not pelicans so that we can become the superior avian species, as this really helps spread the good word of my channel. So I load in, and if you look at your screen closely, you'll notice that my avatar isn't Franklin Clinton, it's Kermit the Frog. It brings me a lot of comfort that someone felt the need to make this. Like most puppets, Kermit got sick of being fondled by a grown man's hand all day, so he decided to move to the hood, which makes a lot of sense. It's now time that my boy proved he's worthy of becoming a member of Grove Street. I proceed to stab this man in the head as a demonstration to the other local residents that there's a new kingpin on this block. It's off to a poor start because someone snitched, which is genuinely pretty hurtful as communities are built on trust. I use my laser vision to torch the police and basically everything else. I even go for the wide leg stance to maximize back support as I've already been betrayed by one of my neighbors and I'd hate to compound that emotional pain with a lower back injury. I grab a cop car and head for the Grove. If Kermit can take back the original hood, then he'll win everyone's respect. If there's one thing I understand, it's gang culture and its three main rules. 1. Always have a side chick that's named after an object. For example, Mercedes, Candy, or Rockmelon with a hole in it. 2. The only thing more frightening than someone with a Glock is someone with a max level World of Warcraft account. And 3. If you're going to take out an entire gang by yourself, make sure your bullets aren't made of lead and steel, but rather hose. In a fight that went on for an uncomfortably long time as the hose did minimal damage to the bowlers, Kermit emerges victorious. Then in a fairy tale miracle that definitely wasn't just me loading up a bunch more mods, Kermit transforms into Carl Johnson as a reward for his truly inspiring service here today. We're HD CJ now though, and it's good to be home. This lady then walks up to me, but enters my personal space bubble, so I haymaker her. To my absolute surprise, she's got a stronger jaw than a 1940s housewife and simply gets back up. I proceed to repeatedly curb stomp this woman, but it doesn't seem to be doing anything at all, which can only mean one thing. She's a zombie. In fact, the entire city has been deserted and is now occupied by the undead. This is not an ideal situation to be in, as we don't even have a gun. The horde following me is also getting pretty large, but in all honesty, it's just nice to feel wanted as my girlfriend broke up with me the other day. Well, I mean, I asked her if we could dress up as Dragon Ball Z characters and spank each other with ping pong paddles and she said no, but same shit. Fortunately, I managed to find a car, which gives me some hope as there's a weapon drop nearby, but I'm almost out of time to retrieve it. If I can get some guns, then maybe I'll be able to survive this apocalypse. I roll up on the drop and some military looking malakas open fire on me, which is kinda rude, so I run one over and take his guns. I read this thing that says mindfulness helps you fall asleep, especially if you imagine a calming scenario. I tried picturing calming meadows, but it didn't work, so now I no joke every night imagine a zombie apocalypse and what I would do if it happened. I fall asleep so quickly it's kind of messed up, but nothing says sweet dreams like the thought of your friends and family being eaten alive, I guess. All the hostiles are now dealt with, but unfortunately my car was shot up in the process, so I'll have to continue on foot. In addition, the noise has attracted many more zombies, some of which are incredibly thick. I move out as there is a survivor on the highway up ahead. I meet him, and despite the fact he's wearing bowler colours, I like his style. Look at the way he takes cover even though he's fighting zombies who don't shoot bullets back, what a cutie. I officially recruit him and we immediately become best friends forever. I'm not sure what his name is, so I'm just going to call him the most racially ambiguous name I can think of, Modest Pelican Gaming, or Pelly for short. All this shooting has attracted dozens of walkers, so Pelly and I jump into a vehicle as we attempt to flee. Unfortunately, it's broken down and the situation isn't looking good. His agility is also lacking as he doesn't sense the danger, and then Pelly proceeds to die. You thought you were clicking on a light-hearted, fun modding video, and now I imagine you're crying relentlessly. I know I'm not the only one who wanted to smooch Pelly. In addition to losing my dear friend, I'm now low on ammunition and forced to beat zombies to death with a wrench. For a while, I attempt to live a simple life up in the hills hunting pigs for meat, but I don't have a knife, so it goes pretty poorly. I also try to save another survivor, but they end up getting eaten alive by like 15 zombies. It literally couldn't be going worse. Until the absolute unthinkable happens. An alert pops up, notifying me that I'm dehydrated. As someone who puts staying hydrated above absolutely everything, this is simply terrible. I run to a jacuzzi in the hope that CJ will ignore the chlorine and sip God's nectar anyway, but he doesn't. The big girl dies from dehydration. I guess I'm sipping water with Pelly in heaven now. Or am I? Everyone knows that if you die from dehydration, you are reincarnated back into the world as SpongeBob SquarePants with one chance at redemption. As I emerge from the ocean, girls begin to flock. This is no surprise, and it looks like SpongeBob won't be out of Bikini Bottom for long. That was so bad, but I had to make the joke, and anyway, the point is, Sponge crushes puss. Every girl on the beach wants to make a pass, and I've got to say I can see why this yellow malacca is so happy all the time. Look at that strut, I bet Sandy regrets friend-zoning him. Anyway, legend has it that if SpongeBob can consensually get laid, all will be forgiven. It's all going to plan until suddenly a storm brews, but not just any storm, a meteor shower. Just to recap, Kermit defeated the Bowlers, which magically changed him into Carl Johnson, who died of dehydration and was then reincarnated as SpongeBob, who's now trying to hit a baddie. A perfect free-flowing story arc with no plot holes, let's continue. Due to all the eligible women on the beach being crushed by meteors, I'm forced to turn to the streets. I decide the time for small talk is over, so I attempt to pick up a hooker to maximize efficiency. To my surprise, she isn't interested, as I apparently don't have enough cash on me. I'm driving a Lamborghini, I'm pretty sure I'm good for it. Why does no one give credit to a sea sponge? This is some blatant speciesism. I head to the top of Mazebank Tower. All I wanted to do was mod SpongeBob into GTA and get with a hooker, but apparently that was just too much to ask. This is getting a little dark, but everyone knows that if you KYS as SpongeBob, you reincarnate into something far, far darker. You might recognize this apartment as the first ever property I owned in my GTA Online series. Anyway, this character is one of the most downloaded and highly rated mods available. I have no idea why this mod is so popular, it's a real mystery. So I need to get to work, and you might be wondering what my job is. Well, I'm a police officer for a small country town. I decide that I won't drive to work today, but rather slowly jog. I suddenly love jogging absolutely everywhere. I'll jog over the entirety of Mount Chiliad if that's what it takes, but then I come across an angry cougar. The cougar proceeds to maul me to death, wow. This actually works out pretty well, as it spawns me at Sandy Shores and I can start my shift. Suddenly I understand why we live in such a shithole apartment, as this is clearly not the most prestigious place to enforce the law. I pick my police cruiser and roll out. With great power comes great responsibility, so we'll have to ensure to treat everyone equally while on duty. While waiting for dispatch to radio in a crime we can solve, I notice a civilian isn't wearing a helmet, so I execute a pit maneuver to near perfection. Here at Sandy Shores Police Department, we always put safety first. The big man then shoves me, which as you can imagine doesn't sit too well. I cuff the perp and then frisk him, hoping to find some illicit substances. All he's got is a face mask, which is surprisingly socially responsible, and an ID that says his name is Anthony Farstein. I ask Anthony to please get down onto his knees and then proceed to run him over in my police cruiser. Being a police officer is challenging, as you've got to know when to use excessive violence and when to know when someone is recording you on their phone. I spot some potential extremists huddling around a kebab truck. To the untrained eye, they may look like civilians enjoying a well-deserved lunch break, but I see things differently. I frisk this man and discover that he has toilet paper in his pocket and his name is Michael Huth. That's actually so weird. I used to play football with a guy called Michael Huth. What are the chances? It's also pretty weird to have toilet paper in your pocket, champ. At long last, my big break opportunity comes. A highway convenience store is being robbed and they need backup. If I can handle this situation, I can probably get a promotion to the city. My parents will finally be proud. I perform yet another textbook pit maneuver, as I'm all about coming in hard and strong. Seriously, I wouldn't be surprised if real police use this footage when teaching cadets. The Crims attempt to run, so I decide to cap their knees to slow them down. I want to capture these guys alive for a good bonus. It doesn't seem to matter how many times I shoot though, she just keeps getting up. It's impressive, but forces me to do what I do best. I'll try to get her male counterpart alive, who is apparently the most athletic man of all time. I think my avatar only squats at the gym, which I'm not mad about at all, but doing a little cardio from time to time couldn't hurt. I decide to call in a new air support unit. Look, I'll be the first to admit this may have been a slight overkill for a small-time convenience store robbery, but I just love the force. I catch up to Big Dog and cap him in the leg, and finally he's wise enough to surrender. It took a long time, but we got him alive, and this should finally get me that highly sought-after promotion. I'm now a proud member of the LSPD, and this is a police station you want to be at. I head to the locker room and equip some real weapons. I'll be able to enforce road rules so much more effectively with a fully automatic. I've also got an upgraded police cruiser. I spot a civilian driving a smart car and so I pull her over. I ask for her ID and her name is Julia and she's apparently 18 years old. If she's 18 years old, then I don't sound like Australian Google Translate. Bruh, how much meth has this lass smoked? I can't let this scumbag get away easy, so I fine her $1 million for driving a dumb car and looking way too old for her age. God, I love the Force. I decide that as my final act of service to Los Santos, I'll arrest everyone. Arresting everyone proves to be quite a large task, but I get to work cuffing as many as possible, and after a short while, I have some sort of horde behind me. Every now and then I execute one of the prisoners to show the others that I'm not playing games. The horde reaches a mass I'm happy with, and I walk them back to the station, but plot twist that I'm sure you saw coming, I execute them all. I had so much fun making this video. If you'd like to see more modding stuff, maybe for Red Dead Redemption, let me know in the comments. A little channel update. I'm streaming on Twitch way more often now, and I'd love to see you there. I'm also posting a different type of content on my second channel, Papa Pelly, and the links for both of these are always in the video description. I love you dudes, and I hope everyone's doing well. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay classy.